life. And for me, her doing this song was something that was like super badass to me. Um, I'm and one of the things, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I'm talking about it today is because this really plays into, not necessarily my upbringing, but like Latinx culture in general, where we are negative first before we are supportive. And that's a problem that really needs to be addressed. For me, I as soon as I saw it, I was like, hey, she's not a singer, but she actually can carry that tune. And people were instantly ripping apart, like, the tone, the way how she was singing. But if you don't know what corridos sound like, she did the motherfucking thing. And it's also rare to have a female singing a corrido. And if anything, Jenny Rivera was always and will always be the best one to do it. But she even says, I am not a singer, but having a song out was my dream. So she goes with the long list of real housewives that have a fucking single out and all the things, and being able to try it once and doing the damn thing. The video was on point. I totally recommend checking it out and to look at it from a different perspective, because the type of backlash that she's receiving is, I think, a little bit unfair, and to me super gross, because even the type of energy that, the negativity exerts, it really makes no sense to me why people there's a lot of creators out there who are strictly only have blogs to criticize and trash reality stars or celebrities or whatever. And there's a lot of crap out there about her, being a bad mom, about her smoking weed and all types of stuff. And I think it's fucking funny, because people really think they're doing something when they put out negativity like that. And I truly uh don't see the purpose of that type of energy. But that's what makes the world go around, is haters, right? And it is not your it is not her living her best life and singing this song doesn't affect you in any way. So all the people, commenting and watching her video, you guys are actually adding to her fucking bag. And that's what brings me to the Jenny 69 effect, that I'm calling it, is because she really has honed in on turning her haters into getting paid, because she knew with already how controversial she is, or how much she gets hated on. She knew that this was going to translate very, very well, even with people who criticized her that she's not a great singer, the video is trash, the song's trash. Shout out to Goddess Lore, who's in here. She basically, we talked about this yesterday. She says in the song, from a pobrecita to a bad bitch. Like, I thought that shit was so fire. Like, I dig it. I dig it. But then I'm also someone who does listen to banda. I am someone who's really been honing in on my Mexican roots, okay? Um and it's been a while, and I've been, listening to this music. It is on a down low though, because my jefita hates it. My mom hates corridos. My mom hates banda music. She'll like it at parties or at a quince or something, but it wasn't something that she would listen to. And actually, my older brother was someone who exposed me to it first. I'll be getting into that later today, but it's something that I like it. I do like it, and I'm not gonna lie. I stand Chalino and all the banda music that is out right now, and the olds, and all of it. All of it. And so this is something that I actually dig. Is it the best song ever? Is it a Grammy award winning song? No, it's not. But when you listen to the lyrics, and I was like, fuck it, that's right, man. Like, I remember watching her go live not too long ago with her mom, and she asked her mom something along the lines of like, oh, what do you want, mom? Or something about what she wants, where she responded with, I want, um I want a mansion or something like that, or a bigger house. And instantly Jenny like went into tears because and she responded with, "That's exactly why I'm hustling so hard, is to get you that house." And I'm getting choked up because it's like, I can relate to that. Like, for someone who's a very, very, very mini micro influencer, it's somebody, or, that I'm perceived that way, or my brand is basically that. I promote, I get sponsored, I'm promoting products or whatever it is. Like, I people ask me where I get stuff from. Like, that is an influencer. That is the gist of it. And I have a following. So, I can totally see, and I've seen the value of what this influencer industry is like, and it's multi-billion dollar, and it's only going to get bigger. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, companies are not investing in commercials and stuff like they used to. A lot of their advertising department is really honing in on influencers, and not even the big ones anymore. They're really honing into the micro influencer market. I could get super nerdy on y'all, but this is with a system. Like, this is planned. And shout out to Jenny 69 for fucking figuring it out, because even with as much haters she has, she knows that people are watching and getting paid for it. She has, her own businesses outside of this, a clothing brand. And first off, she started with lashes, and her lashes are being sold in Walmart. And that was only recent. That was a couple months ago when that launched. Bitch, that is fantastic. I want to be that. Maybe not lashes, maybe not that, but like, that inspires the shit out of me. So, and the reason why I'm having this conversation and why I'm so jacked and so pumped about it is because as I have been, watching her videos and stuff, obviously the algorithm caters to what you spend your time watching. So I have been coming across TikToks where people are talking shit about her being a bad mom and trashing the song. And there was one particular video of this girl that she has quite a large following on TikTok, where she sings. She's if I'm not mistaken, I think she's a mariachi singer, and she sings songs and sings covers and stuff like that, and try to make it big, right? Basically doing what Jenny 69 did in the very, very beginning. But she had a video, and mind you, if you go to her feed, and I'm not gonna at her, I completely forgot to like mention her, but I don't want to trash her. It's more like I just hate the way how she went about this. But if you go to her feed, all of her videos are of her singing beautifully. She has a talent. She's a fucking singer. It is great. And hopefully she gets signed one day. But her only video that's non-singing is of her crying with the Jenny La 69 playing in the background, and her saying, "I guess this is what people like, and real talent like me will never be seen because of girls like this." What? I was like, "Bitch, what?" And then I went to the comments to see if anybody's, making her reframe that. Okay. But no, everybody in the comments is like, "Jenny 69 is trash. You have real talent. Your time will come, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, you are self-sabotaging by focusing a lot of your energy, or putting even out a video like that you think may not have that big of an impact. But we are vibrational beings. Okay, we are vibrational beings, and emit frequency. So when you're out here coming from a place of lack, and take your creative juices to put it into a video of focusing on the lack, focusing on what you don't have, is crazy to me, because you're actually working against calling into what you want, right? Because Jenny 69's success doesn't affect anybody but her. Okay. And if anything, helps everybody else after her who does this, opens that floodgates for that to happen for other girls. It does not. It does not hinder anyone else's success. except for whoever internalizes that and it somehow magnifies your insecurities. And all of a sudden, like, things are not happening for you because not of Jenny 69, but because you are in a negative mindset and are focusing on your limiting beliefs instead of thinking, if she can do it, I can do it also. Like, it really is that simple. And that's exactly why I wanted to come here and talk about this today, because this is the problem, and if people want to be performative and do Latinx history or heritage months and all the shit, listen, I don't like months like these because it should be, Black History Month, 365 days a year. Okay. It should be, Filipino History Month, 365 days a year, AAPI History Month, 360. I hate these months because we should be amplifying people of color's voices every fucking day of the year. But because it is Latinx History Month, I get it. I understand why people do it and stuff, and it does give us a platform, but I rather be more intentional instead of being more performative. And for me, I rather focus on the positives of this, because none of this affects me negatively. And that also goes on for everybody else. But when you are taking your energy to hit on the dislike button, because that's also what a lot of people brought up, is that her video has a lot more dislikes than it does likes. It doesn't translate any different to her bank account. Like, you really thought you were doing something by hitting the thumbs down button. And this goes also in your personal life. Because, like I was saying, in Latinx cultures, right? Since we're on Latinx Heritage Month, in our cultures, and for me, I could only speak from my own family and stuff, but it's very similar. I am mixed, but being my Filipino family and my Mexican side, very very similar cultures, very very similar. And I was, not to say like brought up negatively, but it was more encouraged to talk negative about yourself than it was to praise yourself, because we were taught, don't get a big head, don't think too highly of yourself, you need to be humble. But then nobody said anything when you were talking shit about your body, or people were able to make comments about your body or anything about you. Negative self-talk is praised more than positive self-talk. And that is something that we really need to flip the script on. And I want to be one of those voices that encourage and shows you the different perspective, that instead of hating on Jenny 69, you should be getting encouraged that if she can fucking do it, you can do it too. And one of the quotes that I love best from Cardi B is, don't be what was it? Don't be a why her type of bitch. Instead be a if she could do it, I could do it too type of bitch. Okay. Like Cardi B with the fucking gems. And when I look at Jenny 69 and Cardi B, the start is so similar. Jenny 69 just wasn't a stripper. And now look at Cardi B. Hardly anybody brings it up anymore. And she's turned, not just, I don't want to say turned her life around, because I'm not going to say that her life was on the wrong path being a stripper. We're not doing that, right? I don't think that at all. But the come up is very, very similar, and I'm fucking here for it. And I'm gonna ride our or die for these hoes all day long. And I say hoes respectively. I'm super jacked right now because it is something that we need to be helping each other more than breaking each other down, regardless of what they look like, because people will shame, artists like Cardi B and Jenny 69 because of what they're wearing, because their boobs are out, because they have a lot of plastic surgery. What does that affect you in any way? We need to also be normalizing this for not just our little girls, but also our little boys too, like creating this culture to be more supportive than to be negative. Like, it really irks the fuck out of me the way how we are as a society. And I could only speak for, the my background and the cultures that I'm in, because it was a lot more easier. We love chisme, right? If people like talking shit about others, right? I'm guilty of it. I know a lot of us are guilty of it. But and then when it comes to being able to praise people, why is that conversation a lot more harder? Why is it a lot more harder for us to be happy for others, Because for me, when I see other people thriving, that shit gets me excited because it makes me feel like that energy is a lot more delicious than it is to be talking shit about other people. So when I saw videos upon videos of people talking shit about Jenny 69, I was just like, it's so dumb. It is so dumb because you guys are really moving your vibrations, like you as an energetic being, and putting your creative juices into making negative content. But listen, I'm not going to knock that hustle either because that's also probably what's making them money. So who am I to shame that too, right? For me, though, is that people will rather watch that type of content than to see someone actually winning like Jenny 69. So that's why my whole thing on the Jenny 69 effect is doing it no matter the fuck anybody else thinks. Like, I love it. And she was talking about, you know, the type of cajones that she has, like she really has big balls to release this song. And I can relate to that because, Nico Fest to others might not have been a big deal, but that was such a big deal for me to call it after myself. Like the type of limiting beliefs and negative self talk that was happening in my mind to stop me from calling it Nico Fest because it was like the audacity, me worrying about what else other people had to say, but to actually honor myself by doing it. That's why it was a great event. And shout out to Goddess Lore who's in the building because she said, right there with you, money can't buy you class. Don't be tardy for the party, referencing to some Real Housewife songs. Like, come on. We're all here at the end of the day to like go hard for our families. And if it's going to put fucking, if it's something that you want to do and you're doing it from your highest and greatest good and it's not hurting anybody else in any type of way, do it, especially if you want to do it. Baby, I can be ranting here all day long, but it is time to get into my commercial break. So here is a word from my sponsor. This episode is sponsored by LaRousse. LaRousse was created with their community in mind. We are for the most novice consumer to the most experienced artist. We want to continue creating brushes that will help our community amplify their individuality while embodying power, strength, and courage. Our product is designed in California, luxury, handmade, cruelty-free, hypoallergenic, vegan brushes. Softness as soft as your favorite broken-in brush. Check out Miss Rennie, a 14-piece set. She is our highest rated best-selling brush set featuring some of our most popular brushes. She is our most versatile set. Use her to create a simple, no makeup look for a full beat. She is very travel friendly. Her beautiful studded cup keeps your brushes clean while protecting your brush's shape and integrity. Check out LaRousse at laroussebeauty.com and use my code EVOLVE20 for 20% off your purchase. Yes, that went off with the hitch. I hope everybody heard that. Probably heard me drinking my water too. I hope everybody was able to hear. I saw that Keith had to come on, so probably the YouTube was not doing me justice, but it is all good. Shout out to Keith, man, because we were having a dope ass conversation also too, before I went live, and people don't see the behind the scenes. All you see is the content that we put out, and because it's beautifully made or whatever it is, it looks easy, where it really does take hours of learning and hours of prep, and I don't think people get that part. I came across a Twitter a tweet the other day of someone talking about, people don't understand what it takes and the type of art that is free, you know, by listening to a podcast. Like the fact that we have thousands upon hundreds of thousands of podcasts at the edge of our fingertips for free is mind-blowing, because the amount of work that it takes to put into creating an episode, putting out content is so you know what I mean? It is so the work is so enormous, it's so big, it's so much hard work that goes behind the scenes to produce an episode. And most of these podcasts are free. And I always say, like, get it while it's free, baby, because this might be on Patreon soon, something. Mama got kids to feed. And that's why I think it's funny when people criticize people like Jenny 69, because it's like, bro, she's a mom, especially when you come, I don't know, it hits different. When you're first generation, when you come from, a family of immigrants, when your parents or grandparents immigrated from here, that pressure on us is so major. It is so major. Like, if you can't relate, there's privilege there. So you got to look into that. But for me, my mom came from Mexico at the age of 12 and crossed illegally, you know what I'm saying? And my dad flew here, right, in his 20s, early 20s, and it was really coming here for a better life. And there's a pressure because, my family did a lot of work for me to be behind this mic. I don't want to cry. So when I see people thriving like Jenny 69, that shit fires me up. So if you look at somebody and influencers like her and you automatically hate, you really need to see why that's triggering in your, in your being, in your person. Why does that affect you in such a way? And that could be for anybody in your life. And that's something that I deal with a lot of, I have been healing from. That's part of my healing journey too, because Petty Nico was out there thriving for years. And now she's a little bit more controlled now, and I have her in a box somewhere. I thought I left her in Hawaii, but I didn't. So I have to break down to myself once in a while, like, why is this thing bothering me, and really internalizing that and really seeing like why is this arising such a feeling in me that I feel the need to talk shit or feel the need to hate on it. And I think a lot of people need to have that internal discussion. And it just so happens that, Jenny 69 has figured it out. And like, baby, I'm going to get this coin while it's here. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not a motherfucking game. And you don't have to have kids to want more for yourself, or have to have immigrant parents. Like, baby, just go make something of yourself. And when you see girls like her, just be like, fuck, if she could do it too, so can I. How can I get with somebody like that? How can I do something similar to that, or have and I'm not saying, that's the thing too, right? So we put this very, very real unrealistic pressure on these influencers to be a fucking role model. Like, who said you need to be the one raising your kids, or you can have, like, your good role models and then the other ones that you just root for. But I always would think it was funny when people would tell me like, oh, like, you want Cardi B to be a role model to your kids? Like, no, I'm a fucking role model for my kids. Not her. But what I'm not going to do is trash Cardi B, in front of my sons. My sons know all the words to Bodak Yellow. Okay, like, it's a come up, it's a story to see somebody who made it out the hood, right? Or to see somebody who came out of, um any type of negative situation or whatever it is. Like, that is something that is a positive, and to be able to shed that light and share that with your kids and whatever. You know how it is to fucking share things. So do the things that are most inspirational. And I think it's dope to see other people winning. And that, I guess that's just me. I'm on that. Listen, I'm not on that boat alone. Goddess says I'm riding with Jenny 69. It's one of my favorite numbers. Shout out to Sexual Frequency on Wednesdays. Okay, new time, 9 p.m. And Mysterious Jax, she says, you're killing it, boo. Thank you. Exactly. Get it while it's free. Please enjoy this while it's free. Because I think it's funny. Even me with my own journey, right? um I don't think you guys understand. Like, I'm blowing up right now. I'm not blowing up later. I'm blowing up as we speak. And what's crazy is that, I always say I'm doing the work right now so it looks like an overnight success in the future. And it's something on, you know, maybe it is because we come from, where we come from is this drive to be successful because we got a lot of people who we need to help, you know? I gotta retire my parents. I just drove by when I come here to the studio, I drive by my city. I drive and I pass through Carson. And right now there's a motherfucking smell in the air when you go to my city, and it's sulfur, and that shit's toxic for your motherfucking lungs. And my dad's a mailman, a letter carrier. Proud of it too. I'm proud of him. I love my dad very much. But he's out there walking right now, smelling that all day long. And it makes me so upset. And that's why we're working hard right now. So my dad don't gotta walk no more. So I don't want to cry. That's not where I wanted to go. But like, we got a lot of people to feed up in this bitch. And that's why your girl's going to keep working hard. And I know a lot of people could relate to that. And I did not want to cry, but I'm so seeing people hate on Jenny 69 totally unleashed a lot of feelings I had bottled up inside. I had no idea. But it's something that, when you come from not necessarily nothing, because my parents gave us everything, as best as they could, but like, we want to do more. I want to pay them back. We are emotional. I'm not on my period. It's probably the retrograde. Goddess said, shout out to Goddess for being here with me and Mysterious Jax. We need your boys on YouTube singing Bodak Yellow. I have those little snippets, them pumping in my husband's face. You need to get my mom some bloody shoes, like, what are those? That's so funny. I love that time. They were so little when that song came out. It is we are out here, and when you see people creating content, when you see people out on social media, when you see people, doing the damn thing on whatever it is that they're doing, even if they're going to law school or nursing school or whatever the fuck, going to school to be a teacher, whatever it is, or to go get that vocational degree, vocational thing so that they could learn, so that they could thrive at something else. Baby, be supportive. You know what I mean? Be supportive of those around you. When you see people being successful, don't, it's very normal to feel the jealousy, right? That's something that I had to learn and unlearn, that, to reframe jealousy into being excited. Because when you're feeling like, oh, why her and not me? You really have to see that if she can do it, you can do it too, or whatever it is. Or you see somebody thriving in the area that you want to be thriving in, that just means it's possible. And that's what I'm trying to get down to. And that's, to me, what the Jenny 69 effect is she dreamt it. She did it under, from that's what I see is, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get it done. And, if you've been rocking with me since the very beginning, you remember what the audio quality was like when I used to record from my phone. Like, and now I'm here in this beautiful studio. I'm telling you. It really is a blessing, and it's something that, is possible as long as you want it to be. Because when you think it's something hard, you're right. If you think it's something that's going to be easy, then you're right too. And if you think it's meant to be, you're right. Everything, our minds are so powerful, and thoughts create things. And when you ask, believe, you shall receive. And I'm going to stick by that all day long. Shout out. Shout out to Goddess. She says, yep, slinging dildos for my family. Girl, yes. First of all, those are beautiful. Beautiful crystal wands. Okay. It's okay to cry, boo. We're paying it back, and that makes us feel it does makes us feel some sort of way. And not that, and I also don't want to feel that way too, because I don't want my kids to think that they have to pay me something back, but it's really us, out of love and seeing the struggle, and what that was like. Um, it's an emotional day for me to begin with, and I am going to end with this because I usually have a Tuesday download, and I basically downloaded throughout this whole episode. But today's a very special day. It is my brother's birthday. Rest in peace to him, my older brother. If you've been a fan of the Evolve with Nicolette podcast, I have talked about him quite a few times, and I have a very special episode dedicated to him. And I released that, I think it was last year or the year before. And it says, My brother Omar. So if you want to listen to the whole backstory, very big trigger warning. Lots of things that could arise, some things. So just go with caution to listen to that episode. But it is heavy, but I'm bringing it up because I didn't want to, be a day where I'm talking, reliving the whole experience, because I already did that. And what's funny is that I came to the realization earlier this year that ever since I did that episode, I haven't really talked about my brother and his the way how he died, because for a hot minute ever since that episode. um so I've come to the realization that I'm have probably ascended and healed that part of me in my grief story, and having to retell it to feel some sort of attachment to him, if that makes any sense. Because when you're grieving, it doesn't it doesn't necessarily get easier. You just learn how to move forward with it. Um, but part of my self-healing journey is that I was living with it like if it was a big old boulder on my shoulders. I felt like I was like Sadness from Inside Out walking around with that cloud on top of her head. That's what I felt like. Um, and he passed away when I was almost 10 years old, and he was 18, and my brother was murdered, basically assassinated. And it's something that I have really come in my grief journey, that I don't have to retell his story in order to keep his memory alive. And when I mean retell his story, I mean like retell his death, because that's what I used to do. I used to, when people would bring up my brother, I would go into the whole spiel and just trauma dump on people. But that was the only way I knew how to cope. And, since having my therapist, I've been working on, coming to peace and to terms with it. And when I did that episode on my podcast last year, dedicated to him, I realized that I haven't told it ever since then. And I really feel like I have like ascended in that healing part with him, where I don't have to retell the story in order to honor him, but me living and being true to myself and honoring him by listening to his favorite songs and keeping his memory alive by talking to my sons about him. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I honor him. I don't have to uh retell his death anymore. And I could just talk about who he was. And that's all that matters. And I didn't want to cry. We are in such a such a mood right now. Um but he would have been, oof, somebody help me do the math. He was born in 1979. He's damn near, well, I think 43, 42. And he died in 1998. So it's been a hot minute. And I have now lived more without him than I lived, you know, with him in physical. And since he's transitioned, I feel the most closest to him, um out of everyone who has passed away. So I don't want to cry, because I'm over here trying to say that I'm healed, bitch, and I'm over here just pouring my heart out. It was bound to happen. I'm still here, y'all. Um, oh, shout out to Net because she said, "Let it out, boo. It's special to you, and of course you're emotional." Like, thank you for the affirmation. I came in here guns blazing. I was like, "I'm gonna hype up my bitch Jenny 69," and then here I'm crying. Thank you. She said, "Crying doesn't mean you're not healed," and that's the thing too, is because I like to say that we're always healing, but with his death, I'm able to put down his death and actually just pick up his memory. I don't have to carry the way how he died the way how I used to, because I, lived, I died, he passed away when I was almost 10, but I carried his death, like the time he died, that those days with me for so long. So that's when I say healed, that's what I mean, is that I've healed that part, you know? And because grief Ooh, let me check my phone. Grief is something that never goes away. I swear to God, I'm okay. It's just that I've opened the floodgates. We broke the seal, and that's why the tears keep on coming. And I'm in the studio and I can feel him here. And it's super dope, you know, because I know that dark cloud that people feel when people pass away, like that, the grieving, the thick of it, you know. And I really encourage y'all to really give yourself permission to feel all of it. Because if you let yourself, the healing gets better. The grief story gets better. It doesn't have to remain so cloudy and so dark. Because it never really goes away. You just learn how to manage it a little better. And every time I come to the studio, I feel his presence a lot more than I do anybody else's. Because I know, I know that he's rocking with me fully. And I'm so, so honored for that, you know? And shout out to Goddess Internet for really holding me down in the chat. And Goddess says, "You are healed. You are a healed Mama Sota." Yes. And this is what it looks like. Yes. Totally. This is what that looks like. And Net said, "We're here for you, boo. Safe space." Totally. My podcast is a total safe space. I am mocosa, boogers and all, and my voice is shot. And with all of that to say, I dedicate this episode to him, not only because it's his birthday, but because, your girl's trying to hustle out here. And when I think back about, maybe why my brother made the decisions that he did, and although very irresponsible ones, and landed him in the position that he was landed in, I could only imagine what he was doing it for. And, you know, I asked my mom one time, and I know she's probably gonna be bawling her eyes out listening to this episode. But I know my mom's really mad at him. Even though like he's been passed, I know that my mom hangs that, that dark cloud is heavy on her. It's her son. And I know that I know that she would want to whoop his ass for making decisions that he did back then. But, especially around that time, you just wanted to make money because that's the answer to a lot of our problems. And, but I'm a testament to that you can do something positive and we're going to make it out. Like I'll retire my mom one day. I'll retire my mom, my dad, my husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's on me now. And I am here for it because, like he said, I'm built for it. You know, we're built, people like us are built for it. And I am glad and I'm so thankful that you guys made it through. I'm definitely going to edit edit out this episode. Um but I am so thankful for this space and to be documenting my journey and be able to look back on this and know where it all started. So when you see your girl blow up, don't be mad when I come out with the corrido, y'all. Okay, a pobrecita to a bad bitch. I am full of jokes, man. Like, we can cry, we can laugh, but we all in here, and we're just trying to get, get us to a space where we are, we are, where we are honoring our hopes and dreams for real. And I have very, very big ones, and have um made my vision something that I really want to accomplish and to attain, and bet your ass that it is. So I appreciate y'all being in the chat. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Um don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, do all the things. If you're watching me on YouTube, not only subscribe to TGN Latinx YouTube channel, also um subscribe to Evolve with Nicolette. It legit is super easy to show love for us, to content creators like us, by just hitting the like, subscribe button, putting notifications on, all of those things. Dropping me a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Baby, doing all those things costs nothing to you but means so much to me and really helps me keep the good stuff coming. Thank you for rocking with this very, very emotional episode. It's in the air, and I'm super, super glad that I did this. And it triggered something in me when I saw Jenny 69 do a fucking video, y'all, because that means it makes it possible for the rest of us, that you can do something that you put your mind to, and it could affect, you know what I mean, and go viral. And with going viral, and that translates, to having more opportunities and having more sponsorships and opening the door to other opportunities. Like, I don't think you guys understand that this really is something that, you know whether it's a podcast, whether it's singing, whether it's YouTube, we really work hard on our craft. And all we want to do is, get paid for doing what we love. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for rocking with me. And I will not edit the episode. Net said, no, don't edit the episode. It's real and it's hella honest. And that's super rare. I appreciate you. Shout out to the best friend being up in here, the bestie. Goddess Lode, I saw Mr. Jax. Everybody who was waiting for me, apologies for the technical difficulties and late start. Hope you guys listen to the playback only here on the Good News Radio Network app, y'all. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm gonna go visit my my angels at the Panteon right now. Gonna go say what's up to my brother and stuff like that, and my cousin, my angel Ivania, my abuelita, and go, go hang out at the cemetery for a little bit, because every once in a while that is a space for me, a safe space for sure. I appreciate each and every one of you who listen. I will be here same time, same place. Thank y'all for rocking with your girl. Bye, guys.